You know, that person who always seems to know what to say, the one who reads the room perfectly, never gets caught off guard, and somehow always ends up winning arguments without making enemies. Most people think they're just naturally clever. The truth is way more interesting than that. And if you understand how their brain actually works, you can become that person too. But here's the catch. The real way to outsmart everybody is the exact opposite of what you think. There was a kid in my high school named Marcus. Brilliant kid, like genuinely sharp. He could debate his way out of anything, spot logical fallacies in real time, and he loved proving people wrong. He was the smartest person in every room, and he had almost no friends. People would avoid him at lunch. When he talked, others would shut down or argue harder just to push back. Marcus had confused intelligence with dominance. He thought outsmarting meant winning. He was wrong. Flash forward 5 years, I ran into him at college. Completely different person, same intelligence, completely different approach, and suddenly people actually wanted to be around him. So I asked him what changed. He said, "I finally realized that intelligence isn't about being right, it's about seeing things other people miss." Here's where the neuroscience gets wild. Your brain has two competing systems. There's your prefrontal cortex, which is your logical, analytical brain, and then there's your limbic system, which is emotional and defensive. When you try to outsmart someone by proving them wrong, their limbic system hijacks the conversation. They stop listening, they get defensive, their amygdala lights up like it's being attacked, because on a survival level, being wrong feels like a threat, so they double down, and no amount of logic wins against someone in survival mode. But there's a cognitive principle psychologists call perspective taking, and it's one of the most underrated superpowers in existence. When you understand why someone believes what they believe, when you see the logic from their perspective before you even argue, you've already won. Not because you proved them wrong, but because they trust you enough to actually listen. This is where most people mess up. They think outsmarting means having all the answers. It actually means asking the right questions. A person with genuine intelligence doesn't need to tell you how smart they are. They observe, they listen, they ask questions that make you think differently about your own situation. They do what researchers call active listening, and they're dangerous in the best way possible because people actually want to follow their lead. There's also something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people who know just enough think they know everything. The inverse is true for actually intelligent people. The more they learn, the more they realize how much they don't know, so they stay curious, they stay humble, and that humility itself signals intelligence. It signals confidence so deep you don't need to prove anything. Here's the real framework for outsmarting everybody. First, master the art of observation. Watch how people respond to ideas. Watch their body language when they feel heard versus dismissed. Second, become genuinely curious about how other people think, not as a manipulation tactic, actual curiosity. Ask follow-up questions. Dig into their perspective. Third, control your need to be right. This is the hard part. Your ego will scream at you to correct people. Resist it. Usually the smartest move is letting someone think they're winning while you're actually learning. Fourth, use what you know to make other people smarter. The person who teaches a room instead of correcting a room becomes the person everyone respects. And fifth, think several moves ahead. Game theory, like chess. Anticipate what happens next, not just what's happening now. The moral is this: trying to outsmart everybody by proving how smart you are makes you predictable and forgettable. But understanding people deeply, asking better questions, and helping others think better, that makes you dangerous. That makes you influential. That's what actual intelligence looks like in the real world. The people who change rooms aren't the ones who know the most, they're the ones who understand people the best. So if you actually want to outsmart everybody, start by understanding them first. If this clicked for you, subscribe. We're going deep into psychology and strategy that actually works.